All right. Sorry for the delay. For webinar, we hit some technical difficulties, but we are now starting. Brad's here. Brad, you're here.
Yes, I am. If you can hear
Tim's
me.
here.
I am here as well.
Hi, guys. Thank you guys for making time for this, and thank you for everyone that will be joining us, and also everyone that will be watching and listening to this later. Again, apologize for being late, but we do have a lot of stuff that we want to hit and talk about, and if you have any questions, feel free to jump on the group chat and let us know what those are, and we will address them as we go. First thing I want to start talking about is A+ content. We know that enhanced brand content, that's going to be changing in the near future. Brad and Tim, I'm just going to give it right to you guys.
Yes, okay. We have a set of slides that we'll try to project here.
Yeah, I'll get them loaded up on my
All right, Brad's going to get those loaded up.
Share screen.
So let's take a couple minutes to sort of introduce the panel and the format of what we're doing. So Brad and myself, of course, are from Product Labs. We're former Amazon product managers in the marketplace who like to help people sell right now, help their business get going, and we like to connect with sellers and sort of give our feedback and our experiences and expertise on how they can improve their businesses. So this is sort of a roundtable format. We had hoped that we were going to have a lot of live participation, but we've prepared about 4 different main topics that we want to talk through. And we're open to questions and additional topics if anybody's still on the line. Okay. Brad, you want to hit
All right, so I'm sharing my screen. Let's see, how do we... Kate, are you able to force people to look at my screen that I'm sharing?
So as you're talking, whoever's talking, that's the screen that'll pop up. So when you're talking, your screen will be big.
All right, Tim,
there you
stand by me.
Yeah, I might have to.
So he can see my screen. So we're going to have Jared Ferguson on with us also, but because of technical difficulties, he had some commitments that he had to continue on with. So we'll have him do something with him a little bit later. But he was another former Amazonian, as they say, in the marketplace, and he was over the used category, which there's actually some really interesting things that some insights he has, and he has to say about all that. But again, with Tim, or I guess I'll introduce myself, Tim. I'm Brad. I ran Seller Central while I was at Amazon for a while, and then I also went and built the Amazon Seller app. That was my baby while I was there. Built it, launched it, did some cool stuff with it, and then since then I've left, and we've started Product Labs to help sellers sell their products around the globe, U.S. and international.
Awesome, and I'll take a couple seconds to introduce myself. Of course, Tim Hughes, the wonderful photo on the left with the cool sunglasses.
Yeah, right.
Also a former Amazonian. I was a product manager in Marketplace, and I focused primarily on third-party fulfillment and returns experience. So for all of those sellers who do what's called MFN, or the Merchant Fulfilled Network, we were the ones behind the scenes making sure that everything was working properly. On top of that, there was a lot of interaction with some of our international teams, and a lot of fun stuff that we'll try to share with you guys along the way.
Okay, so let me. We'll try and adjust. I think there's some echoes going on. So we'll adjust.
Hey, Brad, if you just turn off your speakers, we won't have that feedback issue.
So can you hear me now any better?
I actually couldn't. I could not hear you when you did that.
Me?
No, Brad.
All right, so I muted my mic. So when I'm not talking, I will mute my mic.
Okay.
Maybe Tim will do the same. We're actually in the same room. We didn't want to get too close to each other.
Can you guys hear the echo when Brad is talking, or just when I am?
Just when Tim is.
Yeah, that's probably your
okay. That's my mic picking it up. So I'll hit the mute, and okay. we'll get through this.
All right.
Okay. So go ahead, Tim. You can go run into some of these first couple slides.
Sure. So as I mentioned before, guys, we planned on doing sort of an open roundtable discussion. So we have a couple canned topics that we want to to talk about. And then, you know, there's always an open call for questions. So of course, you know, your questions and feedback are most important. We're all sellers in this together. So if at any time you guys have questions, feel free to do it live. You know, we'll look at your questions and sort of moderate. And then we also have time for general Q&A at the end. And again, you know, everybody's encouraged to participate, so interact. So if you guys have something on your mind, please feel free to let us know. Brad, you want to hit the next slide? All right, so as Kate mentioned before, you know, one of the first topics we wanted to discuss was A+ content for sellers. So in case anybody is wondering what A+ content is, it is a glorified name for enhanced detail pages, right? So we've seen a couple different things on the detail page that we're like, wow, how does that get there, right? And the two things that are really prevalent we're going to talk about today are HTML in your product description. And the second thing is video on the detail page. So Amazon, I think towards the end of the year, probably in Q3 last year, they started rolling out this thing they called enhanced brand content. It wasn't really prevalent, so it's kind of hidden underneath the advertising menu. So you go into Seller Central. If you're signed up for advertising, you look at the advertising menu and you'll see a link, a sublink under that called enhanced brand content. Now, when you click on that, you're going to see two different experiences, right? The first one is if you do have brand registration. So we talked about brand registration in the past. That's where you have a private label brand that you own and you sign up and you register it through Amazon, right? So if you have a brand registration for one of your brands or more of your brands through your account, you're going to see the first experience, which is going to take you to this new page. And it's pretty cool. You know, it's, hey, check it out. Create some enhanced brand content detail pages for your SKUs. So you're going to see that what's up towards the top. If you don't have any products brand registered, you're actually going to be taken to another screen, and it's going to not coerce you. It's going to tell you to sign up for brand registration. So this is meant, again, this is for brand registered only content, right? So that's why, you know, it's called enhanced brand content. And that's another reason why Amazon is pushing. They want you to register your brands with Amazon so they understand, you know, what you own, what's private label, and, you know, help you protect that brand.
And this is, you know, a good time to make sure that you do have brand registry. We've come across many people who think they have it but don't have it, and yet another reason to get your brand registry through here. And then there's also other ways of ensuring your products have brand registry applied to them, and we've spoken about that in some other podcasts and whatnot. But just make sure you have it so that you can fully utilize these enhanced brand content pages.
Yeah, good point, Brad. Go back and check out our other webinar, and it'll, you know, we give a breakdown on how to tell if your products are brand registered within Seller Central. So it's a little trick not a lot of people know, but it comes in handy a lot. Okay, so let's get a little bit more into the A+ content. So this is what you're looking at on the right is a enhanced brand page. So more the A+ content. So if you are brand registered, you can go into Seller Central, click on the advertising link, and on the sub menu, go to enhanced brand content, and then you'll be taken to a page. Now that page is going to say, you know, input a SKU, right? So you got to input one of your SKUs that you're brand registered. And it'll take you to a place where you are asked to select one of 4 predefined layouts. Now, these layouts, what they do is they change the product description. So a lot of you guys probably have seen this before on some like major brands, like you go to a Unilever brand, and you're going to see something other than just text there, right? You're going to see text, you're going to see images, probably some cool layouts and stuff like that. Well, this is sort of the same thing, but for, you know, 3P sellers. And what you do is you select one of the 4 predefined layouts, and it really just allows you to upload some cool images of your products and, you know, structure, you know, your text and your product benefits into a really easy to digest format, or one of 4 easy to digest formats. If you look on the right, you'll see this is an example of one of the pages that we have under the enhanced brand content. So it's pretty cool. It's got, you know, a big headline banner, and then actually I couldn't fit it all in the same. There's actually 2 smaller images with some text, supporting text on the side, and then on the bottom there's actually 3 images with supporting text below those. So you'll see there's 4 different layouts that you can choose. One of the things to keep in mind is that, you know, like on this particular product, there's a bunch of different variations, right? So what you can do is you can create a single layout for products of the same variations, and then you can apply that layout to all the different products. But the downside is you have to apply it to all the different SKUs, right? So in this case, I believe there was 4 to 8 different SKUs under variations. So what I had to do is I had to search for the 8 different SKUs. I had to first create the layout for the very first one. And then when I created it for the second one, so I searched for the second SKU, there's an option and you just click the drop down and it says, apply an existing layout or existing template. And then I applied one that I had already created. All right. And then one thing to note is once you create those, you will actually have to submit all of them for approval. Right. So, one of the things Amazon's doing to hedge their bet, against malicious content and to ensure that quality content is there is they want to, make sure that everything meets their quality standards. So once you have the layout complete, you'll go in and you will submit it. And then within, I believe I heard back like pretty quick, like within 24 hours that it was approved. And it was great. So it started to show up. Now, one of the things that we ran into, so I want to pass this information along to you guys. Excuse me for a second. One of the things that we ran into was that after I had filled out a really nice, pretty product description, A+ detail, like you see on the right, I went to go check my listings the next day and all of them were suppressed. And I was like, oh man, what happened? So of course, I went into inventory and then you can click on, suppressed listings to see what's suppressed. And I found out that all my listings were being suppressed because I did not have the product description in there, even though, the enhanced brand content is essentially the product description. One thing to note is you still have to fill out this field. Otherwise your listings are going to get suppressed. So keep that in mind. It's interesting because the product description doesn't surface, but what I would do is, what I did is basically just take the text from my enhanced detail page and copy it into the product description. So it had the same information. My best guess is that it's part of like a fallback. If the A+ content doesn't load for some reason on the Amazon side, they might fall back to the predefined product description on the detail under product description. Any questions or anything on that?
Did you? Yeah. Okay. Great.
Brad, I just want to say it is cold in here.
It sure is.
I'm shivering a little bit, so I'm sorry about that. We're in sunny Utah right now.
So with A+ content, I have a quick question.
Sure.
The product description then is that hidden or it's no longer part?
So it's no longer surfaced. So my best guess, I've done some stuff in advertising on Amazon, and they have what's called a fallback, right? So there's different levels of content. So what they do is they want to serve you the ad first. And if they can't, for some technical reason, they would do a fallback. So this is really common in the advertising world. My best guess is that's what they're doing here, is that the product description, that the A+ content under the product description is what they would choose to surface first. And if for some reason it doesn't surface, if there's some type of technical error, something like that, my best guess is that it would fall back to the normal product description field, which you normally see there. Okay. It's still unknown whether or not the product description text is being used in addition with the brand, the enhanced brand content for things like, optimization and for search. So, I think that my recommendation is fill out the product description as if the enhanced brand content didn't exist, and then use the enhanced brand content to enhance your page afterwards. That would be my recommendation.
Is it searchable? The content, is it searchable?
Generally, yes. I believe the content is searchable.
Okay. Awesome. I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, moving on to where you got a little sneak peek last time, but we want to talk a little bit about video. There's been a little bit of adjustment with some of the video here. So, Tim, I guess you can keep rolling on the video.
Yeah. So the next thing on so A+ content. So the two things really synonymous. Brad, can you mute?
Yeah.
Sorry, we got some feedback. The two things synonymous, again, like what I said with A+ content, are generally, where you get that HTML product description. And then the second thing would be on video. So we've seen video in a couple different places on the product detail page. The one that everybody's probably aware of is, you go to some pages and you see a video up in what we call the hero widget or the hero slot. That's up by the images, where you see the images and you're like, wow, there's a video down there. How do I get that for my product, right? Well, currently, this is reserved for a few different people, right? So we know that Amazon has access to this slot. So when they sell things, just solely themselves, they can utilize the video slot. We know that full vendor accounts also have access to this slot. So, that's one where it's an invitation only, but with the full vendor account, you are selling directly to Amazon. I know that some of the other programs, like I want to say maybe the Launchpad and the exclusives might also have access to it. I've seen it on some of the other ones, but it's unconfirmed right now. So that's what a lot of people have seen when they say video. There's actually another spot on detail pages where there is video, and a lot of people don't realize it because it's not on all the detail pages. And that's called the related video shorts section. So where you can find this is if you go on a product detail page, you scroll down right by the product description, you'll see a little section that says related video shorts. Now, again, it's not on every page because it has to have, of course, a related video short. But I've pasted an example right here on the slide on the right, and you can see that. So this particular product right here, it's a video game product, and there's related video shorts. So there's a launch trailer, and then there's a PS4 release trailer for the game. Now, this is something really cool, and it's brought to you by the Amazon Video Shorts team. And I wanted to give a quick blurb on what Amazon Video Shorts is. I used to work with that team a little bit when I was at Amazon. What they have is pretty much what the title would suggest. They have short form video content. So when we say short form, we're not talking about, a full episode of, your favorite TV show or a movie or anything like that. Short form is generally like, a few minutes long or a few seconds, like 30 seconds, something like that. Or, it could be a couple minutes long. And it spans a lot of different areas, right? So we've seen video shorts that have things like music videos. There are things like movie trailers. There's how-tos. There's just a lot of different things. But I think the things that are most relevant to you guys, to the sellers, are that the video shorts actually has things like product descriptions, product unboxings, product reviews, things that show you the product and how to use it, things that compare it to like maybe another brand and show you why it's superior, things like that. And it's really, really helpful. A lot of the demonstrations, people really enjoy them. But again, like I said, it's not very, very known to a whole bunch of sellers. Brad, do you have anything else on that?
Yeah, no, I did want to mention that.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Can we jump back to product descriptions really quick on EBC? Brand content stuff.
Yeah. Let me just add in one more point of the video shorts.
Okay.
Is that
Perfect.
It's actually positioned. This image doesn't show it very well, but it's actually positioned right above the reviews. So what most consumers do is they get the first snippet of the product, right, and they look over here, see the stars, see a couple of the images, and they want to say, okay, this isn't a fully 5-star, so I want to go look at some reviews, get some more information about the product. And they scroll down, and right below this related shorts section, start the product reviews. And so there's a lot of, these are the consumers who are looking for more information about your product. And it's becoming a really interesting spot for consumers to look at and highlight. I know this is the big focus for a lot of people on Amazon. If you saw the heat maps on the detail page, this is actually a really hot section. So these related video shorts can actually be very, very potent and very effective. We've talked with many people about when they've added these video shorts, they're actually seeing some really good sales bumps and sales increases because it's explaining things. So now I just want to make that one point. Let's jump back to product description. Okay.
So one of the things that we had in our newsletter this week was an article talking about the content with EBC. And apparently right now it is not being indexed. So So that's a
Okay,
problem.
so that's a good thing. So that's what I said before. So maybe the EBC stuff isn't being indexed. That's why I would recommend you fill out the product description as if the EBC stuff did not exist.
Okay.
So and where did you get that from, Kate?
Zonblast. We also sent it out in our newsletter this week. The
Okay, so
Keyword Podcast newsletter.
okay, so is it confirmed from inside or?
It is a
So it's an
blog
assumption.
post on. They discovered that the keyword bullet points and descriptions were not only indexed, but appeared to play. They were not indexed, but they did appear to be part of their ranking.
Okay, so again, what we recommend is what I said before, which is fill out the product description field before you fill out the enhanced content or the enhanced brand content, as if the enhanced brand content did not exist. Then after that, enhance your page with a pretty look and a pretty layout with images and text, just to cover yourself.
And then the second thing, the product description. Hang on, we had a question that. Is it, just to clarify, the enhanced brand product description, does that just replace what's the normal product description right now?
Yes, that is correct. You will see the enhanced brand content in the product description field. So if you look at the picture on the right, normally where it says product description in that, Amazon orange text right there would just be your text that you would see, like, hey, this is my product, and these are the things about it. And that is no longer there. That will be replaced by your enhanced brand content.
Would you guys recommend enhanced brand content for all sellers or all products, or are there specific products that work best with the A+ content?
So as I mentioned before, it's only reserved for brands that you own. So if you don't own the brand, you obviously can't own it, can't do it. Even if you do own the brand and the brand is not registered with Amazon, or you have not properly brand registered your product, it appears that you cannot offer that enhanced brand content right now at this period of time. I would say, it's still in testing phase right now. So we have not gathered enough data to see if the enhanced brand content has, an impact on conversion or sales. My guess is that it's probably positive. The reason why Amazon is rolling it out to other sellers is probably because it does have a positive impact on conversion. So I would say if you have the ability to do it and you have the time, then I would say do it. I mean, just from an aesthetic viewpoint, I believe this is a way more pleasing way to look at your product and present your product to your customer.
How does it?
I do want to mention too that don't be too scared by it either. It's essentially it's your product description with images. So most people have a lot of images already. If they're doing the regular SOPs of at least 6 images on there, and so you have some of those images, you can duplicate them, or if you have several more, just do the enhanced content, and really it's just justifying it out and putting your images throughout the page. Oops. And it's not too scary to actually get into.
A+ content, how does it interact with PPC?
In what way?
Pay per click. Is it taken into account? Does it have any impact on your ad spend? Anything like that?
Again, I think we're going to reiterate what we said last time. Can you mute again? Sorry. And I'm freezing right now, so sorry for my voice is a little bit jittery right now. We're going to reiterate this. I can't say for certain whether or not the actual things in the enhanced brand content slot are taken into account as far as, PPC advertising is going. My guess would be yes. And if it's not happening right now, eventually it will be. So again, I treat it as the same thing as, your product description. I would fill out both. And, I would put rich detail about your product in there, and, that's going to give you the best chance of being able to highlight those keywords for PPC.
And let me say something else. Really kind of dive in there and take a smarter approach into this and say, okay, and look at the previous month, what your conversion rate is on your page for your product. Then add your enhanced content and see if your conversion rate goes up. Conversion rate, that's really what it should be doing. It should be improving your conversion rate. If it's not going up, then it's not doing much for your product. If it is going up, then it's doing a lot for your product, and then you can actually push more ads to it. Now, conversion rate's going to help you with a lot of different things, and there's cause and effect that's going on here. And if your conversion rate's going up, then really that does help ads, and that does help your organic ranking, and it does help various things of selling on Amazon.
Okay, thank you. And that question, that's coming from our chat with people that are joining us. That was from Raj. He also had another question going back to product description.
Mm-hmm.
And any tip or advice on product description being indexed, but not the enhanced brand content? Anything you guys that could help Raj out there?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm going to just recap it. As start with your product description, put rich details about your product in that field, right? You want, if just think about it like this. If your customer could not look at your product through images, what would you tell them about it? What are the things that you would use to describe your product? What are the benefits? What are all the things that that people might search for that your product is part of, right? So make sure you put that rich detail in your product description. And then again, once that's done and you're satisfied with that, then enhance it with one of the enhanced brand content layouts.
All right, I don't see any other questions. If there's any other questions, please jump on the chat and let us know. When it comes to the A+ content, let's jump back to the video slide, you guys. And there was at least one question from Jonathan. He said, how do you load the related video shorts?
We're going to get to that in 1 second, right? So that's something that, I think that's what everybody's fascinated about. I think related video shorts is great. It's a different group in Amazon, and really their aim is to get more rich quality content on video shorts in general. And it doesn't necessarily have to be related just to a product. But I think for the purposes of this webinar for sellers in general, it presents this great opportunity to say like, hey, you know what, I do have video and I want it to be displayed on my product detail page. What are my options here, right? I don't necessarily have a vendor account, and that's not good for me. So what are my options? And Brad, you want to hit the next slide? So I want to talk about a service that's called AMZ Product Video. And this service does exactly what we asked, what we were asked. So AMZ Video has two. Brad's pulling up a website.
Just showing the website real quick of the AMZ Product Video. And this is a group that we're actually affiliated with or associated with. But I'll let Tim go into it more, and we have some links for the service.
Sure. Thanks, Brad. So what AMZ Video does for you guys is one of two things. First is they offer like a full service of video creation. So, a lot of us sellers out there, we don't have the time or, possibly the resources to create our own videos. So they'll do things like full service creation, including talent, location, editing, all that stuff, the processing. They'll do something, from a 30-second to a 3-minute option, depending on what you need. I think they even have some shorter ones. So what they do is they create all that for you, and then they're able to upload it to the, the Amazon Video Shorts catalog and relate it to one or more product detail pages for free, which is, a great service. They also offer, so if you have your own video, what they do is they still like to do review of the content. So, one of the things that Amazon always strives for, and I think, what we try to tell sellers to strive for is quality. And so even if you do have your own video, what they do is they go through and they do an assessment of the quality of that video and make sure that the content, the rating on the content is sufficient for Amazon. So, they say everything should be like PG, it should be for family audiences. So they make sure that the content is okay. In a lot of instances, they'll have to do some post-processing on the video file itself to make sure that the quality is up good, of the utmost quality. So they'll do some post-processing, and then they'll also review the metadata. And what metadata is sort of the descriptions, the behind-the-scene descriptions, like the name of the video, the description of the video and a couple other metadata fields to make sure that you're doing your video justice. They also do quality checks, right? So Amazon has a lot of standards to make sure that you're following the guidelines. So they do all that on your existing video, and again, they'll take that and they will upload it to the Amazon Video Shorts catalog and relate it to your product detail page for free. But they will charge you for the processing and the service that they provide. Same thing with the video creation. They are running a special this week, so anybody who's watching the webinar, you can get a 50% off code for if you have your own video using the code webinar 2017. We've seen it before. It's pretty cool. It doesn't take very long if you have your own video for them to run some processing and some checks on it, and upload it to the system, and then boom, it's on your product detail page. And I think Brad, if you want to pull up the website, it's actually the same as the previous slide. If you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see here's another example of a product detail page with some related video shorts at the bottom. And we've seen all sorts of things. The ones that work best that we've seen are things like, again, video reviews. There are, and this is actually where video reviews will surface, like from the Amazon Vine program as well, I believe. So there's video reviews. There's things like product unboxings. There's product demonstrations. Those things work out really well. They're very beneficial to the customer purchase decision. So that's why people love video. And I want to iterate on quality. And it's a huge thing, and that's why AMZ video, AMZ product video, takes time to look at your video files and your application, is because they want to make sure the quality is really, really top notch, so that Amazon continues to expand the program and just release more features and for everybody. So any questions, Kate, from the audience on that one?
Well, I have a question. I'm looking to see if we have any other video questions. Maria, we will be posting, this is a general note, we will be posting and sending out the full webinar after we're done today, so she can watch the full thing. But I have a question. When it comes to video, you talked a little bit about Amazon is pretty strict about their images, especially that first image that you have that pops up. Are there time limits? Are there, what are the exact rules that Amazon has when it comes to posting a video on your page?
I think there's a lot of different guidelines. They are posted primarily on the AMZ product video website, but just a few things to remember are things like quality, right? Quality is a big one. So you want to make sure that the video is as high resolution as possible. Even if you have the raw file, the team can do some post processing on it and bring it down to the right format and quality. It's got to be things that are like family friendly. This is Amazon. This is not a place where you would promote like certain products. So things that make sure that it's you would let your children watch these videos. As far as length is concerned, I don't recall if there is an exact length guideline.
Yeah, so regarding length, they don't have a specific length guideline. Here's some FAQs from the website itself that help understand a little bit more. You got to remember though that this is an internet video, and so the attention span of your audience is only so long. And the stats that we've seen from the videos that have gone live is that the shorter the video, the more higher the completion rate view of the video is. So for example, if the video is 60 seconds, you might see that 80% of the people who actually start the video end the video, and service is given those stats. So but if it's like a 3-minute or 4-minute video, sometimes the viewership only watches, only 40% watch the actually entire video. So this is the internet. People are looking at this on their phones. They're looking at it while they're quickly browsing around, viewing things. So the length is, you got to be sensitive to the length. Now you can, yeah, go ahead.
Is there a spot is there a way in Seller Central to see how many views your video has?
No, but I believe the service will help you out, this AMZ product video, and let you know from time to time, what kind of viewership you're getting on the video itself. So this is all very, it's an early thing inside Amazon, but it's really exciting thing for third-party sellers, particularly the service, because now sellers can get their videos up on Amazon. On their pages, and we've heard of lots of really positive results from people who've we've helped get some videos on there, that sales are, they're growing, particularly if they have to explain their product, right? There's many products that you really can't explain very well through pictures and trying to show motion on a picture, and people don't want to go through the hassle of becoming a vendor, or they're not eligible, or they just don't want to deal with that side. And so this is really opening up a lot of things for third-party sellers to show their products and show really interesting videos, and people are watching them. It's pretty awesome. It's a pretty awesome service.
We do have a question from, I think this is Dennis. If it's Denise, I'm very sorry. Adding video, is it available for any seller?
It is available for any seller.
Yeah, the way the service does it is actually it's not even tied to your seller account. It's more tied to the ASIN itself and the brand that the ASIN is a part of, and so it's all all above the line. It's all legit with Amazon. Everything that happens, and basically going through the service, it can happen real quick, and if you get your videos up probably today, if you acted quickly on this and get things going.
Yeah, one more thing I want to point out is, again, on the quality thing, we've been told that certain sellers have asked to do like malicious things with video, like, hey, can I put my video on a competitor's page, or something along that nature, like so-and-so said I can do this. Like, that's an absolute no-go. So again, I'm going to push on quality and Amazon's guidelines, and the idea here with A+ content in general is to enhance the product at hand, not to stomp on another conquest on another product detail page. So anytime you would submit a request to AMZ product video to do that, your request is going to be denied. So please, don't waste your time trying to do that.
We do have one, and I think this will be our last video question. Is Amazon, this is from Roberto, is Amazon product videos a company promoted by Amazon? I can answer that one. No, it's a separate company. And
yeah, it's absolutely not affiliated with Amazon in any way.
And why do you need to go through them to publish a video? That's the second. This is a two-part question. Why do you need to go through them, assuming Amazon product videos is what Roberto means here? Why do you need to go through them to publish a video?
Yeah, currently this program, my understanding is it's sort of a beta program. It's not open to all sellers, and again, it's a quality thing. So the biggest worry here is that they open the floodgates for all sellers to upload their own videos, and then it's a disaster, or one or two people take advantage of the program. So my understanding is that this particular AMZ product video has the ability to do this at this point in time.
And I think it's also part of their relationship with Amazon is the understanding that they do these screenings and processings to make things, make sure that they're very high quality videos. And so they do have a relationship with Amazon. They're not an exclusive partnership with Amazon. Though. Yeah,
there's no relationship or partnership. It's just I believe they're part of a pilot program.
So to answer, I'm going to answer quickly. Stephen had a question: how can we upload our own videos?
That's not available at this time.
Right, that's what I thought. And then Dennis, maybe Denise, I'm sorry. So not all sellers can post videos. You're right. You need to use the video service. That's correct. He's correct there. Yep. But let's move on to our next topic, because we only have about 20 minutes left. Product reviews. Product review clubs shut down in October in the North American Amazon marketplace. A lot of sellers that I talk with are still kind of trying to pick up the pieces and figure out how to move forward. So you guys, I guess, Tim and Brad, I'll let you guys take it away. Tell us, product reviews, are they still important? How do you get reviews now? What's the best way to go about improving your star rating and review total overall?
Yeah, I want to start off by saying that reviews they're always important on Amazon reviews. I want to reiterate, we actually did we were part of a really interesting study that we did, and discovered that the review count doesn't necessarily matter as much as your star rating on reviews after you get 21 reviews. So you want to really push to get 21 reviews, and then after that you want to make sure they're 5-star, as many of those 5-star as possible. And you don't necessarily need the hundreds or thousands of product reviews to get sales happening and conversions happening. But the ways of getting those, there was this big rush, and all these services built around this idea of reviews are so important. And perhaps it's because it was so visual, and sellers could see these numbers going up. But the idea of reviews, I think people just need to take a step back and say, how important was it? Was it worth spending whatever to get 1,000 reviews on my product? And sometimes it was, but you got to do it in a different way now, and a more legit way, I guess, or a more authentic way is probably the best way of putting it. And that you need consumers to be buying your products and then leaving reviews, and you can't offer a discount for a review. That said, you still can offer discounts to people to try and help move product. Discounts have happened since the beginning of commerce, right? And there's sales that go on all the time. And if you're looking at, you might see a 2% review rate or a 5% review rate, depends on how efficient you are in getting feedback or getting reviews on your products through soliciting emails and things like that. If you're going to get 5% review rate and you need to get, or then you sell 100 products, you're going to get 5 reviews. So if you need 21 reviews, sell close to 500 products. And that's kind of where you want to look at and get. But that's where it comes down to, the percentage of reviews you get from every sale that you have starts becoming more and more important. And so you want to be reaching out to people and seeing if they'll review your product. You're not going to give them a discount, but you want to just say, hey, if you're happy with this product, we'd love it if you leave a review for us on Amazon. In a little different and more authentic way there.
We do have a question from Rosetta. She's wondering, Amazon Vine, is it worth it? In her experience, they found that they got about 1 star less on products than they felt like the product deserved. But your guys' thoughts?
Well, I mean, the Amazon Vine program is supposed to be a completely unbiased program, and so not to undermine your viewpoint or anything like that, but I know that sellers tend to favor their own products more so than the next person. So if the Vine program rated you a star lower than you thought, not to say your product's bad, it could be like just a genuine review, and that was their viewpoint. The whole purpose behind it is to get organic reviews, right? And there have been studies that have shown that incentivized reviews are on average like 1/2 to 1 star higher than non-incentivized reviews. So it's possible that we are now used to the bias that has been going on for quite a long time. Again, what Brad had said before, it's important to get reviews on your product in general. So, if you have the opportunity to do the Amazon Vine program, I would say go for it. I mean, it might be worth it. Again, you have to make the decision that's best for your business, but I would say, it's another way to get a review on a product. Now, think about it with movies. just because somebody reviews it negatively or, you know, not as positive as the next person doesn't mean that it's a bad product or it's a bad movie. You know, there's been hundreds of cases where the critics or the, you know, the experts have reviewed movies not favorable, and then, you know, the people's choice is like, hey, well, you're off your rocker, this is fantastic. Well, the same thing can happen about, you know, products. And so that's why I think what Brad was saying before is, you know, that magic number to get about, you know, 20, 25 reviews is because after that amount, they see that the star rating doesn't change that much. You know, it's really not like that's pretty much telling the real tale of what your product is. And so you get diminishing returns after that. So, you know, don't be scared. You know, if your product didn't get a bad review, it probably hasn't been around long enough, right? So everybody's got their own opinion. Not everybody's going to rate their product 5 stars. You know, so it's just something we have to deal with in general.
I have a question when it comes to reading reviews, because you can read your own product reviews and gain a lot of insight. Would you guys recommend reading every single review that's posted or read just the 1-star reviews? And how often should you be commenting and responding to reviews on your page?
So again, this comes to kind of best practices is what, I mean, what do you think? Right? Do you think it's good to go through all of the reviews and get the most understanding you can? Of course, actually. If it comes down to diminishing return of your time in the end, is should you spend time going through all the reviews? Yes. And is it a really good thing to do that? Yes. And should you respond to negative reviews? Yes. Those are all really good things to do. Now, are they more important than launching a new product that you're trying to get up? I don't know. That's for you to decide in your business. But yes, those are really good things to be doing, is reviewing reviewing all the negative reviews, reviewing the negative reviews, and reviewing your reviews on Amazon to help gain some insights.
Yeah, absolutely. To understand what your customers think about your product and any opportunities that you can take to improve your product, I would say that's essential. That's just part of, you know, being a private label product owner as it is, right? Yeah, I mean, you're going to learn how to filter out some of the garbage. Some people are just angry, you know, some people don't like anything. Some people, you know, will give you really constructive criticism, you know, that if you have time, go through and check it out. I don't think you should obsess over it. You know, as Brad mentioned, there's only so many hours in a day. But when it comes down to it, it is very important to understand. You know, we had a product line of ours in particular, and all the questions and, you know, a lot of the, you know, reviews and the questions and stuff on the product detail page kept asking, will it fit this? Will it fit that? Will it fit this person? Will it fit that person? And right there, that gives us information. Man, you know what? We need to display the sizing more prominently for people so they can make a better purchase decision. So what did we end up doing? We ended up putting an image up on the product of the sizing so people could know exactly how it fit, you know, and there's other options in the sizing tables as well for clothing categories. But I mean, that's the kind of feedback that you stand to gain when you understand what people think about your product. So think about that.
And then you can pair that together with A+ content, right? And say, oh, well, maybe let's do an A+ content on our page and have a big section just about sizing, for people, and have a nice big picture in there and show that sizing. So you want to couple these things together and actually use it all and increase conversions.
Yeah, I think it goes back to like the Amazon principle that you guys, you know, are pretty much, I'm sure you heard all of them, or the Amazon values. You know, the customer obsession is really, you know, as sellers, we should all be obsessed with our end customer, and, you know, and try to answer those questions for them and provide them with the right information and make the right purchase decision, right? So keep that in mind.
Do you guys recommend commenting on all negative reviews?
Well, so there's 2 different things when we say commenting on negative reviews. So there's a review, you guys got to understand, there's reviews of the seller, right, of your seller account, and then there's reviews of the product itself. Now, the ability for somebody to comment on a product review is generally isolated to vendor accounts. So vendor accounts are allowed to reply to the product review as the actual vendor. I believe that's the only way to do it. Otherwise, you have to, leave a comment as a person, right? So you're not exactly the seller of that product. So keep that in mind. And then also remember that when we say, a lot of people use feedback and review synonymously, so they get those two confused. If people are leaving product reviews under your account feedback, that's kind of different. So make sure that you read the guidelines on seller feedback. And in that section, yes, you can. If they leave a bad feedback, you're welcome to comment right there and say, we apologize. And, you're welcome to reach out to the customer. Amazon gives you the tools to reach out to the customer and remedy what they're upset about. So make sure that you guys check that out.
All right, thank you guys. Let's go. Do you guys want to go to our next topic, or do we want to just open it? Yeah.
Yeah, you want to do a quick thing on this one, and then we can kind of open it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
We're just about out of time, so yep.
Okay, so let me quickly go through this on the brand gating. We had talked about counterfeiting in the past, and I know for private label sellers, it's like a huge thing that everybody wants to make sure that they get rid of counterfeits, ace and squatting, things like that. So I want to just give a little bit of updates. So we've learned a little bit more information on the brand gating, and that's so basically what we've seen, I think starting later last year, is that if you had your brand registered through the Amazon brand registry process or program, you would start to see that certain brands were gated. So if other sellers tried to sell that brand, it would say, hey, this is a gated brand, and you can't sell it unless you apply. And, a lot of people were rejoicing. This is awesome. No longer can I have a counterfeiter come on and squat on my product and sort of take it over. So we've done a little bit of research into that. We're still waiting for some answers back. Right now, we know that brand gating does not apply to all brands. It seems to be more prominent in certain categories where counterfeits are more prominent. So we've seen it like in things like electronics and toys and games, not so much in some other categories. That doesn't mean it's not there. From what I understand, Amazon has a set of rules in each category that they follow as far as whether or not they want to gate a brand. To our understanding, there's no way to request that your brand has been gated. We're still looking into that. So, if we find more information, we'll let you know. But I did want to give a little bit more context of how brand gating will impact, your sort of stave off these counterfeit sellers and what kind of restrictions it applies. So if you have a brand and it is gated, it's kind of cool. So another account is unable to sell its brand. What happens is when you try to list it, so you try to list an ASIN under that brand, you'll get a message from the catalog that says, this is a gated brand. You have to apply. And the application process requires you to submit an authorization letter from the brand owner or from the manufacturer. And then also, I believe it's 3 invoices from the last 180 days to show that you have been purchasing the product. So it's a pretty tough process. If any of you have tried to get through, get approvals in other categories, this is the similar process where you have to submit sort of the same details to get ungated in those categories. So it's kind of following the similar thing. And I'll tell you, it's tough. It's not easy for people to get past that. So it's tough. But Brad, you want to share a quick experience and how it could be negatively tough? We've seen some other situations.
Yeah. So just be you definitely need to be careful with what you go after and who you're going after, and understanding the difference between vendor and seller. If you're going to get brand gating, I would 100% say that you should go after it through your seller account and not do the vendor account. We've seen people who've been locked out for several months of their entire brand because the vendor side decided to gate everybody, but the vendor side doesn't always work well with the marketplace or the seller side. And so the third-party seller account, which they sell most of their products through, is all locked out throughout the whole holiday season, when the vendor side could keep selling their products. So you need to be very careful and understand that the marketplace or the seller side gives you a lot more freedom in general, and you'll be able to have a lot more flexibility there if you're able to get the brand gated and do it all through your seller account, versus the vendor side, which you could get locked out and then the vendor account manager won't respond to you, or he'll take a long time to respond to you, and you could miss out on months and months and months of sales. So just so you know, also internally at Amazon, the vendor side doesn't always they don't really they don't always get to work well together. And so if you're complaining to your vendor manager that something on your seller account's not working very well, it's a totally different department, different buildings, different everything in Amazon, and they don't necessarily care that much to help. I mean, they care as much as Amazon can care, but their jobs aren't reliant upon helping you open up your seller account. And so understand that there's a big difference between selling vendor and seller, and you got to be sure that the relationship between the two departments inside of Amazon.
Yeah, great point, Brad. Keep that in mind. And, it's our understanding that there's a lot of great things coming for, the brand registration program in general in 2017. We've had some discussions with some people internally, and it just seems like they're trying to open up new options for people that register their brand for a couple different purposes, for protection. And then also, private label products are great. They bring new selection to the platform. There's a lot of small mom and pop manufacturers who bring just really cool new products, so my guess is we can see some we can expect to see some pretty cool stuff on under brand gating and brand registration in general in 2017. So let's cross our fingers and hope we see some stuff. One other point that I've seen, I have a request out to Amazon to learn more about this, but I've noticed, and please let me know if your experiences are similar. I've noticed that if a brand is gated, that sellers are still allowed to sell in the collectibles condition. So that's kind of interesting. So like you couldn't sell new, you couldn't sell used, but you can sell a collectible condition item. I don't believe collectible condition items are eligible for buy box, but it's still kind of interesting that that is allowed. So again, we'll let you know when we hear more information about what's going on with that.
Jonathan had an issue that he's talking about in our chat. He says, we are a private label brand with no distribution. If others are selling product on our site, it is either counterfeit or used. How can we get them removed from our listings, as these goods are not new? We even have Amazon as a reseller. Oh, Jonathan, this is a headache. He says we've never even sold to them.
Yeah, so I mean, a couple things here. Like we go into some of this on some of our podcasts and our webinars, so make sure you check some of that content out. We will tell you it's part of your seller agreement that there are some ways where Amazon can get a hold of your product through warehouse deals. I have a huge list. I've spent countless hours on the phone with Amazon to better understand how this works.
Also on that note, it's kind of scary, but someone else can register as a vendor express account and sell the counterfeit products into Amazon. And so Amazon's selling your products at that point, even though they sold them into Amazon, pretending to be the authentic product. I've had that happen to some products that I've run too.
Yeah, so remember that these are things, these are realities of selling on a marketplace, like Amazon. Again, I would say that, the best bet for protection is do the brand registration. So make sure you register your brand. If you have dealt with counterfeits, make sure that you go directly to Seller Central and tell them what you believe is a counterfeit. They have a process for taking care of this. It requires you to unfortunately obtain proof beforehand. So it means you might have to buy one of the competitor products and prove that it's counterfeit. And once you do so and you have the correct information, you present it to Amazon and they will remove the counterfeit listings. And under some circumstances, like what we've seen, we've dealt with it before. Everybody deals with it. Unfortunately, what we've seen is at that point in time, they will sometimes put gating on the brand itself. So, to make sure it doesn't happen again. But again, if you are dealing with counterfeit sellers or squatters on your ASIN that don't match the brand, that is against Amazon's terms and services. I would encourage you to reach out to Amazon immediately, give them details about what's going on, and then ask them for a detailed process of how to get, how to take care of it.
Maria has a question, seller versus vendor. She says, I'm the manufacturer of a product and have always seen myself as the seller. Would a vendor be a customer of mine that is just offer our product? So in this situation, when we're talking Amazon vendor versus seller, you can have a seller account, you can have a vendor account. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking seller versus vendor.
Yeah, Maria,
So-
vendor usually is reserved for, when you talk about seller, it means you are selling the product yourself. As a vendor, what they mean when you're a vendor is you're actually you're selling the product to Amazon to sell. And so like that's the distinction. So if you're a manufacturer of the product, either you are authorizing people to sell your product, so you're basically a distributor and they're the retailer. If somebody has registered your brand without your permission through vendor, I would say I would get in contact with Amazon. That is not supposed to happen. And in fact, they're only supposed to be able to do that if they have an authorization letter from the vendor itself. Okay.
Another question from Tony. This is a good one. Do you have any idea of how to get rid of Chinese counterfeits on my listings without the test buy process? I feel him. You have to wait like 2 weeks to get that.
Yeah, well, I mean, 2 weeks is actually quick. A lot of the stuff that comes over from China can take up to a month to ship. They ship it by boat. It's very cheap. It takes a long time to go from China to United States, get through customs, and then ultimately be delivered. Right now, from my understanding, that is the correct process. I am unaware of an expedited way to do it. We have run into it in the past, and we followed the process. I can't, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't give you legal advice. I've heard other sellers say that they have gone through legal means by writing cease and desist letters, either directly to Amazon or to the seller itself. To try to get the listing, the counterfeit listings taken off. One of the problems with that is like the people are shielded by an ocean. So, counterfeit sellers who are out of this country, there's nothing really that we can legally do to those guys. The law is well outside of our reach. But I think that, that's maybe a better question to ask Amazon. I think it's a question on everybody's mind. And I believe that Amazon is taking steps to make it easier for brand owners to protect their brands.
And if all of those that are having issues with counterfeit problems, I'd love to talk to you more just from a podcast perspective. I am working on an upcoming episode on counterfeit issues. Send me an email, kate@amazoninsiderpodcast.com. That is the end of our hour. That went fast. We are so sorry for the delay. Tim, Brad, any final words that you want to say before we wrap this up?
So we did skip over the slide that talked about your 2017 goals. So maybe we'll have to talk about.
We'll have to schedule another.
Yeah, a different time. But just want to say, yeah, we run this company, Product Labs, and we're essentially we help people sell their products on Amazon. We're management consulting for products, and we use all of our knowledge to help our clients sell a lot on Amazon and grow their businesses. So check us out. Also, we have a really fascinating beta tool that I think a lot of people will be really interested in when we launch it shortly. But you can sign up for the beta there.
That sounded like a jab at the tech team. We're working hard to get it out. We want to make sure that it's of the utmost quality and provides a lot of value to sellers. So hoping to get things out soon. So please check out our site, productlabs.net, beta sign up, productlabs.net/tools, and then check out the product video service, amzproductvideo.com.
And if you guys liked what you heard from Product Labs, you guys have been great to work with. Our podcast, the podcast is Keyword. It's the Amazon Insider podcast. And Tim and Brad have been on multiple times, sharing their insight into numerous different whatever topic we're talking about each week. So this entire webinar, we will make sure to send it out to everybody that signed up. It will also be on Keyword Podcast on Monday. You guys can download it or stream it. You can find us at AmazonInsiderPodcast.com. I think we're good. Tim, Brad, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.